When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. What's up, guys? What's up? I feel powerful today. You know why? Remember I bought a new computer like a couple of weeks back? Yeah. And then I wanted to like sell all of my old computer parts, like all the parts from my old computer. And I did. I just did it. Like I sold every single part, every single like RAM, CPU, motherboard, the case. I sold everything. Yeah, I feel good. I'm a businessman, you know what I mean? Sold everything on eBay and Craigslist. It's so I sold, okay, it's weird. Craigslist is pretty cool, right? Because like with eBay you can sell stuff, but then it takes a while because you gotta go ship it. Um, you have to be aware of scams and stuff. Of course, there are scams on Craigslist too, but um, sometimes there are eBay scams where they pay on PayPal and then they cancel the payment or whatever. But anyways, um, I sold my case, my computer case, my old computer case on Craigslist. And it was a dude from around here. We went to meet at a certain place, and then it was pretty weird because okay, I parked my car and I opened the trunk. And the guy comes over. He gives me the $30 that I charged for the case, and then he just like took a look at the case and he for like 2 seconds and he grabs it and then he goes and he leaves. Right? I'm like, wait a minute. Like, usually when you buy something, don't you like check it first? Right? I was expecting him to just take a look at the case, open it up, see if it's all right and everything. No, he just takes it and runs away. It's so weird. Like, what if it wasn't a real case? What if like it was all broken and stuff? Yeah. I don't know. Like it's like people. There are some people who, when they buy eggs from the store, like from the supermarket, they don't even check the eggs. You know what I mean? I don't know what is going on in your head that you don't check the eggs when you buy eggs at the store, right? You gotta check every single egg so to know that it's not cracked or anything. Yeah, he seems like the kind of person who doesn't check the eggs in the supermarket. What's up, Bigfoot? What's up, Patrick? Hey, Dee Dee. Glad you could join. What's up, Nikki? Hey, Katie. Glad you could join. We are so close to the end. Do. Hey, Michaela. It's Bagel Samurai. What's up, Bagel Samurai? This will be your bedtime story? Yes, this is a good bedtime story. You think he was a fan and he just wanted something I owned? That's funny. Yeah, I doubt it. Doubt it. Shibe Boy. What's up, Shibe Boy? You got here early again. You were early last video too. All right. Maybe he thought I had an honest face. I didn't because I had my mask on. We both had our masks on. Yeah. Check the eggs. Check the fast food bag before you pull away. Yeah, that too, right? You gotta check your fast food bag to make sure that they put everything in because sometimes they miss stuff. Like, I hate it when they miss my chicken nuggets at McDonald's, man. Those chicken nuggets are the best. Yeah, or don't check the milk expiration dates, okay? There are certain things you have to do. All right, you gotta check. Like, the world is not perfect, okay? The world is not ideal. Dun, 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 dun. Expired milk by any other name is just yogurt. Hey, so I drink almond milk. Does almond milk expire? I don't think it expires, right? It's not actual milk. I've never seen it expire before. What's up, Amy? Glad you could join. We're almost to part 69. Oh my god, we're so close to the end. We are at chapter 68. There's like this chapter and then 3 more and then we're done. So after so that's about next month, right? So we're gonna be done soon with this novel. So I'm going to start the next novel. I don't think I'm gonna I don't think it'll be at the same time as we've been doing it. So we've been doing it on Sundays at 5:30. No, Sundays at 5:30 Pacific time, right? I want to change the time. I think I want to change. What do you guys want to change to? I think I'm going to change to tomorrow. So it'll be like Mondays. And I don't think 5:30. Like so Mondays an hour later than I usually do. I think that would work. So like instead of Sundays, instead of today, it'll be tomorrow and an hour later for the next story. We'll stick with this schedule for this story, but once we start the next story, we're gonna go to Mondays. Okay. You can't make it Mondays. What about Tuesdays? Well, I don't want to make it Sundays because like it's the weekends. I've been doing it Sundays because it was COVID, right? I started on Sundays because it's COVID, and we're all indoors anyways. But I want to leave my weekends open, so. Do, 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 do. 7 to 9 Eastern time. You got a show to go to. What is your show? You have a show every week? You want to suggest 3:13 in the morning on Wednesdays? Like 3:13 a.m. Okay, yeah, I'm not doing that. Started at 6 p.m. my time. So 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on Mondays, Nikki? Is that good? I like how we're just scheduling it on stream. Getting my life back. Yeah. Not that I go anywhere anyways. Like I don't need I'm not like going out every I'm not like I don't know. I just want to leave it open, you know? You know what I mean? Even though I'm still not going out, like the pandemic is still going on. But yeah. All right, so it'll be Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. For the next story. For this story, with this novel, it'll still be at the same time. All right, cool. When I finish, just start over. Oh, you want me to live read at 24/7? Okay, cool. Can I replay the same thing, or do I have to like read it 24/7? Do I have to just keep reading the chapters? Katie, make it that this old lady can be in bed by 10 p.m. Why do you sleep at 10 p.m.? That's too early. Yeah, it's way too early. But I think if it's 6, so 6 p.m. would be 8 p.m. your time, right? Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, whatever. Have I ever read Journey to the West? I haven't read it. I know the story. I've watched the old like TV shows, the old like Chinese TV shows about Journey to the West. Yeah. Laura, you personally really like this time and make sure that you're at your computer Sunday evenings. Well, too bad. It's not going to be Sundays anymore. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Does Smiling Proud Wanderer have a part two? No, this is the only Smiling Proud Wanderer novel. No part two. It's a one shot. All right, guys. Let's get started. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Nade, thank you so much for the contribution, for the donation. I really appreciate it. Dun, dun, dun. Any thoughts on the next novel? I already have. I already picked the next novel, so I know what it's about. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I think it's another long one. It's pretty. I think it's pretty long. So expect another. The length of the next novel to be around the same length as this one, maybe even more. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a really good story. It's a really good story. Um, yeah. So now what I have to do is I have to make the thumbnail for the next story. Oh god. Yeah, Fridays are not good either. Friday nights are not good. Oh, I have no snacks today. I ran out of my freaking Japanese snacks. I had to go buy. I have to go buy them. I have to go buy more next week. So no snacks today. Just water. Oh, I think I have Doritos. Nah, it's okay. All right, so recap what happened last week, okay? What happened last week? So Ling Hu Chong is disguised as the mute granny, all right, of the temple, and he's listening to Yilin, pouring her heart out to him because she thinks he's the mute granny. She doesn't know that she's actually talking to Ling Hu Chong, right? Afterwards, so afterwards, he goes away. Then he meets the actual mute granny. Okay, he meets the actual mute granny, and he doesn't have a sword at the time, so she captures him really easily, right? So turns out, she's really good at martial arts, and she captures him. She ties him up, and she reveals that she is actually not mute at all. She has just been pretending this entire time. She could hear everything, right? And she's been hearing everything that Yilin has been telling her, right? So she reveals that she's not mute, and she reveals the second thing, which is that she is Yilin's mother. Okay, that's a big reveal. And she gives Ling Hu Chong, our hero, an ultimatum. She says that he has to either marry her daughter or get his pee cut off. So she's like, marry my daughter or I'll cut off your pee. Okay, you have two choices. Pick one. And then she also captures Ying Ying, and she says that it's okay. She's like, okay, fine. Okay, you're in love with Ying Ying. You're already promised to each other. You can marry Ying Ying and my daughter at the same time. Okay, you can have two wives. How about that? All right. She's very accommodating. Okay, so I think he agrees. He agrees with that. Just because, right? Because he doesn't really want to do that, but he has to agree just to get past this thing. He doesn't want his pee cut off. So the mute granny brings Yilin over to another room. Yilin's oblivious, right? She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what's happening. She hasn't seen Ling Hu Chong in that room yet, tied up. Yilin gets so mute granny brings Yilin over to another room. She reveals to Yilin that I'm not actually mute. I've been listening to you the entire time. And Yilin gets mad, right? She gets super mad that the mute granny was pretending to be mute, and she has been listening to her this entire time. But the granny also tells Yilin that Ling Hu Chong would marry her. Okay, but Yilin doesn't believe it, and she refuses to do it. She says she's a nun. She can't do that, even though she's already fallen for him. She's madly in love with Ling Hu Chong, but she can't do it because she's a nun. And I think that's it. And she runs away. Okay, and then the mute granny runs after her, and that's when we ended. How's that? The last chapter was too much fun. Yeah, that was a fun chapter. Dun, 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 dun. What's up, AN? Nice of you to join. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me change the screen. All right. Chapter 38, Annihilation, Part 1. All right. So she's let's see, what was happening? So yeah, Yilin runs away, and then she chases after Yilin. And I think Ling Hu Chong and Ying Ying are still tied up, right? Ling Hu Chong and Ying Ying were looking at each other, and in that moment, all sorts of feelings welled up in their hearts. The razor glinted under the sun, shining through the window. Ling Hu Chong never thought this problem could be solved like that. Suddenly, there were some voices from below the hanging temple, but they couldn't hear them clearly as the voices moved farther away. After some time, they again heard people coming closer to the temple. Ling Hu Chong called out, "People!" He called out people. When he heard his own cry, he realized his mute acupoint was already unsealed. From the acupoints on the body, the mute acupoint was sealed the lightest. As his internal energy was more abundant than Ying Ying, his mute acupoint was unsealed first. Ying Ying nodded. Ling Hu Chong wanted to extend his arms and legs, but he found out he still could not. He heard 7 to 8 people talking as they came inside the hanging temple and came up the Spirit Turtle Pavilion. They're gonna smash? That's why this chapter is called Annihilation? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Then, if so, then it's gonna be a fun chapter. Wow, it's like there's part 1 and part 2. So there's 2 parts, 2 chapters of smashing. That would be fun to read, wouldn't it? Someone with a coarse voice said, "There's not even a ghost." Wait, how do you do a coarse voice? "There's not even a ghost in this hanging temple, so what are we looking for? We have to be really careful." This person was the mendicant monk Chiu Songnian. We have order from the top, so we must do this well," Monk Shibao said. Ling Hu Chong hastily moved his internal energy to break through the sealed acupoints. However, his internal energies were mainly from other people, so even though they were abundant, he couldn't use them like they were his own. The more he forced it, the more difficult it became to unseal his acupoints. He heard Yang Sanxing said, Mr. Yue said that after we succeeded, he'll give us the evil resisting sword art. I don't think we can rely on his words. Right now, at Mount Hangshan, we've done a great merit already, but there are so many people working on this matter, and we have not done something big enough. So why would he give the sword art to us? No. So these people are doing something, are following the orders of Mr. Yue. We're not sure what they're trying to do, but they're trying to do something, and it's probably not going to be good. While he was talking, a few people came up the stairs. When the door to the chamber was pushed open, they suddenly saw Ling Huchong and Ying Ying hanging from the beam, with their hands and legs tied up. They all gasped in surprise. How come young Lady Run is here? Slippery and hard to grip, Yo Sun questioned. Hey, there's also a monk. Oh, remember, Ling Huchong has his hair shaved at this moment, right? Remember that? Who dares to be so rude to young Lady Run? Madame Zheng asked as she walked next to Ying Ying and released the ropes Ying Ying had been tied up with. Madame Zheng, wait! Yo Shun hastily interrupted. What? Why wait? Madame Zheng queried. There's something strange here, Yo Shun argued. Yi, he's not a monk, Priest Yu Ling suddenly exclaimed. He's Headmaster Ling Hu Chong. They all turned their heads around and looked at Ling Huchong. It took them a while, but they finally recognized him. These 8 people were usually in awe of Ying Ying, and they were so afraid of Ling Huchong. They immediately looked at each other in blank dismay, not knowing what to do. Yan Shanxing and Qiu Songnian suddenly exclaimed at the time, What a great accomplishment! That's right, Priest Yuling agreed. What's so rare about capturing a few nuns? But capturing the headmaster of Hangshan, now that's a big accomplishment. Mr. Yue will definitely give us the evil resisting sword art now. Uh-oh. These are traitors. So, what should we do? Madame Zheng asked. All 8 of them thought of the same thing. If we release young Lady Run, we won't be able to capture Ling Huchong. We'll even lose our lives here, so what should we do? But regarding Ying Ying's authority and power, they did not dare to release her. Yu Shun giggled and said, As the saying goes, if your heart is small and you're not a nobleman, to be a gentleman you must be ruthless. It doesn't matter if we're not noblemen, but it's a pity if we're not gentlemen. Very pitiful. You're saying we should take this opportunity to kill her and shut her mouth? Priest Yu Ling asked. I didn't say it, you said it, Yu Sun replied. Sacred Lady has treated us with kindness. Whoever dares to treat her with disrespect, I'll be the first one to go against it, Madame Zheng said severely. Even if you release her now, do you think she can understand our situation? Qiu Songnian argued. How can she agree to let us capture Ling Huchong? No matter what, we're already in Hangshan School, Madame Zheng said. Betraying our headmaster is also treachery. After she finished speaking, they're talking like in front of them. They should be talking in another room. After she finished speaking, she extended her hand to release the ropes binding Ying Ying. Stop! Qiu Songnian shouted fiercely. Speaking so loudly, are you trying to intimidate me? Madame Zheng angrily replied. With a hiss, Qiu Songnian drew his zhidiao out. I think that's the sword. Madame Zheng moved quickly and drew out a short saber from her bosom, cutting the ropes binding Ying Ying's hands and legs. She was thinking Ying Ying's martial art was very high, so once the rope bindings were cut, there was nothing to be worried of, even with those 7 people attacking. With a flash, Qiu Songnian slashed his zhidiao down. Madame Zheng's short blade made chir sounds as she thrust 3 times and forced Qiu Songnian back a couple of steps. The rest of the people saw Ying Ying become unbound. and they were afraid. They quickly retreated outside the door, wanting to be the first to go down from the pavilion. But when Ying Ying fell and did not jump up, they knew her acupoints were sealed. One by one, they slowly came back inside. Yo Sun giggled and said, You know, we're all good friends here. Why are we fighting with sabers? Isn't that too dangerous? When young lady Run's acupoints become unsealed, would we still be able to keep our lives? Qiu Shangnan called out. He gripped his Judao tightly as he again rushed at Madame Zhang. Judao versus short saber. The fighting was very intense. Qiu Shangnan had a big stature, and his saber was big. Saber was very big. Moreover, Jidao was very heavy, but against Madame Zhang's close combat style, this mendicant monk actually didn't find the fight easy at all. Yoshun laughingly said, Stop fighting, let's talk slowly. His hand was holding a folded fan as he approached them to mediate. Scram! Don't be in the way, Qiu Xiangnan shouted. Yes, Yoshun laughingly replied. He turned his body around and his right hand suddenly shot out. Madame Zhang cried out wretchedly. The steel fan in Yoshun's hand had already entered her throat. Yoshun laughingly said, We're all friends here. I advise you not to fight, but you didn't want to hear me. Isn't that a bit too treacherous? When he pulled the fan out, blood sprayed out of Madame Zhang's throat. This was outside everyone's expectation. Startled, Qiu Xiaonan took a step back and then he scolded, Damn it, you son of a turtle, were actually helping me. Yoshun laughed and said, If I don't help you, who do I help then? He turned around and said to Ying Ying, Young lady Run, your chief Run's daughter. All of us gives way to you because of your father, but every one of us respects and fears you only because you have the antidote for the 3-corpse brain divine pill. But once this antidote is in our hands, sacred lady, you'll be useless. Right. The 6 people all agreed. Once we have taken her antidote, we can kill her to shut her up. Let's take an oath first, Priest Yu Ling said. Whoever leaks this matter out, the 3-corpse brain divine pill in him will the 3-corpse brain divine pill in him will come out instantly. These people were thinking they must kill Ying Ying, but thinking of Run Wo Xing, they were terrified. If this matter were to leak out, even though Jianghu was large, they still might not be able to find shelter to hide in. The 7 of them immediately said this oath. Ling Huchong knew that once these people had finished saying their oaths, they would use their sabers to kill Ying Ying. So he hurriedly moved his inner energy to those acupoints which were still sealed, but he was still unable to unseal any of them. His heart was worried, and he looked at Ying Ying. He saw she was also looking at him, and there was no fear in her eyes at all. He was immediately relieved and thought, In the end, we must all die. It would be very good for us to die together. Qiu Xiangnan said to Yu Shun, Do it. Monk Shu has always done things very quickly, and you have the most heroic spirit. I'd like to ask Brother Chu to do it, Yo Sun replied. If you don't do it, I'll butcher you first, Qiu Xiangnan scolded. Okay, so now it becomes clear that all these people, remember, they're all like criminals and gangsters, right? Since Brother Chu doesn't dare, then how about if Brother Yan does it? Yo Sun laughingly said. You're a granny, why don't I dare? I just don't feel like killing people today, Qiu Xiangnan angrily replied. It doesn't matter who does it. No one will ever reveal it, Priest Yu Ling interrupted. Well, since it doesn't matter, then Brother Priest, please, do it, Monk Shibao said. Why is everyone refusing? Yan Xiangxing said. Let's speak frankly here. No one here trusts anyone else. So let us all get our weapons out and kill young Lady Run at the same time. Even though these people were ferocious and evil, when the moment arrived to kill Ying Ying, they did not dare to insult her, even slightly. Wait, let me get the medicine first before we do anything else, Yu Sun said. Why do you have to be the one to take it? Qiu Shongnian asked. Once it's in your hands, you will coerce other people. Let me take it. If it's in your hands, who's to say that you wouldn't coerce other people? Yu Sun replied. Stop wasting time, Priest Yuling bellowed. If we waste time till her acupoints are unsealed, then it'll be trouble. Let us first kill her, then we'll distribute the medicine. With a hiss, he drew his long sword out. The others also took out their weapons and encircled Ying Ying. Ying Ying's eyes were wide open as she unwaveringly stared at Ling Hucheng. She was thinking of the events in these past few days when they were sharing some sweet moments together. The corners of her mouth were tenderly smiling. Yan Shanxing called out, I'm going to call 1, 2, 3. We'll move at the same time. 1, 2, 3. When the word 3 came out of his mouth, 7 weapons chopped down on Ying Ying's body. Who would have thought that all 7 weapons would stop by half a foot before they reached her body, as if they had a prior agreement to do this? Cowards! Why didn't you kill her? Everyone stopped. Everyone stopped right before they cut her. Qiu Shongnan scolded. You were thinking the person besides you would do it, so the blame wouldn't fall on you. You're more of a coward, Monk Shibao retorted. You didn't even chop down with your Zhi Diao. Each of them, in their own mind, wanted the person beside them to kill Ying Ying first, so that their own weapons wouldn't need to be stained with blood. To kill someone they had always respected was actually not easy. Let's do it again, Qiu Xiongnian urged. This time, whoever stops their weapons will be a bastard son of a turtle, birthed by a prostitute, worse than a dog. I'm going to call out 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. The word 3 had not left his mouth when Ling Hucheng called out, Evil resisting sword art! The 7 of them heard him and they immediately turned their heads around. Around 4 of them asked at the same time, What? Yue Buchun had used the evil resisting sword art to blind Zhuo Longchan on top of the place of worship, and this had spread throughout Wulin. These 7 people were very jealous. These last few days they had been thinking of this evil resisting sword manual day and night. Okay, so it looks like what's been happening is that Yue Buchun had told these people, these people that to steal the corpse brain pills from Ying Ying, right? Because remember, Yue Buchun had also swallowed the pill, right? So he needs that medicine also. So it looks like he told them to go get the medicine and kill Ying Ying, right? And then he would give them the evil resisting sword manual. They're kind of dumb because, like, of course he would never give them the manual. Ling Hucheng recited, Evil resisting sword art, supreme swordsmanship, attain sword chi first, then learn the divine sword. Divine chi is the foundation, the essence of the sword art. How to develop the sword chi, how born the divine sword. Both secrets are contained in this. When the first sentence was uttered, the 7 people moved towards him for half a step. After the 6th or 7th sentence, all 7 of them had left the side of Ying Ying and had gone beside Ling Hucheng. When Ling Hucheng stopped reciting, Qiu Songnian asked, This is the evil resisting sword manual? If it's not the evil resisting sword manual, then it is resisting evil sword manual? Then is it Wait, what? If it's not evil resisting sword manual, then is it the resisting evil sword manual? Ling Hucheng answered. Continue reciting it, Qiu Shongnan persuaded. Ling Hucheng recited, When practicing the qi, mind must be sincere, clear your thoughts, heart must be pure. When he reached this point, he stopped reciting. Monk Shibao urged, Oh, continue. But Priest Yu Ling's mouth was muttering, trying to memorize those passages. Actually, Ling Hucheng had not seen the evil resisting sword manual yet. The lines he was reciting were actually Hua Shan's sword art's formula, and he just changed the sentence Hua Shan's sword art, light and quick, to evil resisting sword art, supreme swordsmanship. This was the root of Yue Buchun's Qi branch formula, where the sentence learn sword Qi first, then learn the divine sword existed. Ling Hucheng didn't study much, so his vocabulary was quite limited. In such a short time, how could he fluently invent those sentences just like a scholar? But Qiu Xiongnan and the others had never heard the Huashan sword arts' formula before. Second, they had been thinking of the evil resisting sword art, and they were very fascinated by it. So once they heard someone reciting the formula of the evil resisting sword art, each one of them became muddle-headed. How could they still have time to think whether the sword manual was real or fake? Ling Hucheng continued with his recitation. Flow smoothly, fill the sword chi, evil resisting sword comes out. Everything will be killed. This sentence, everything will be killed, was made up by him because the Huashan sword formula definitely did not have this kind of words. After reciting till here, he said, the next sentence is something like, if unable to kill, sword art is ineffective. But maybe not. I don't remember it that clearly. Monk Shibao and the others asked, where is the sword manual? Ling Hucheng replied, this sword manual is certainly not on me. At the same time he was saying this, he was also looking at his stomach. This sentence really was along the lines of, there's no 300 taels here. Right after he said this, two hands promptly reached inside his clothes. One hand belonged to Monk Shibao and the other to Qiu Xiongnian. All of a sudden, the two of them cried out miserably. Monk Shibao's head had split open, while there was a sword piercing from the back of Qiu Xiongnian's body all the way through to his chest. They had fallen victim to Yan Shanxing and priest Yu Ling. Oh. Translator's note, this means clearly admitting that the sword manual is there. Okay. So Ling Hucheng was implying that he had the sword manual on his body. And these two guys tried to get it from his body, but then the two other guys from behind them killed the two guys, right? We've worked so hard to get our hands on this evil resisting sword manual, Yan Shanxing laughingly said. Once this sword manual appeared, these two bastards wanted it for themselves. How can things be that easy in this world? Then he kicked away the two people's corpses. Oh, 2 down. 5 to go. In the beginning, Ling Hucheng pretended to recite the evil resisting sword manual because he saw Ying Ying's life was in grave danger. So he thought up of an idea, quickly wanting to lead these people away from her and delay them, thinking that Ying Ying's and his acupoints might get unsealed soon. He never thought things would come to this point. Not only had he led these people away from her, they had even killed each other. Now there were only 5 of them from the previous 7. Secretly, he felt really happy. No one has seen whether this sword manual is really on Ling Hucheng's body, Yoshun said, but we've already killed each other first. That's really impatient. He had not finished speaking, but Yan Shanxing was already rolling his eyes and staring at him hatefully. You're saying we're impatient? You don't accept this, do you? Yan Shanxing said. I'm afraid you want to get this sword manual for yourself. I wouldn't dare to get it for myself and end up like that big monk with my head split open, Yosun replied. Where's the fun in that? But this sword manual is very famous in the world. We all wanted to widen our scope, and I've always thought about it. The Tongue Cypress Whiz Duo said at the same time, That's right, no one is allowed to get it for himself. If you want to look, then look at it together. Yan Shanxing said to Yoshun, Okay, then you get the sword manual out from this kid's chest. Yoshun shook his head and smiled. I don't have this idea of taking it for myself. I also wouldn't dare to see it first. Brother Yan, once you take it, I'll be satisfied if you just give me a peep at it. Yan Sanxing said to Priest Yu Ling, "Then you go and take it out." "It's best if Brother Yan takes it out," Priest Yu Ling replied. Yan Sanxing looked at the Tongue Cypress Wiz duo, but the two of them were also shaking their heads. Yan Sanxing angrily said, "Do you think I don't understand what the four of you bastards are thinking? You want me to take the sword manual, and then you're going to kill me. But this won't work on me." The five people were looking at each other. The situation was now deadlocked. Ling Hucheng was afraid they might again go and harm Ying Ying, so he said, "Don't get too worried. Let me try to remember more. Evil resisting sword comes out. Everything will be killed. If unable to kill, sword art is ineffective." Not right. Sword art is ineffective. How can that be? Terrible, terrible. This sword manual is too profound. I just can't remember it. They're literally arguing over who has to disembowel him. Well, right now they're arguing over who could get the sword manual from his chest, right? But like they know that once one person tries to do it, the other four will kill him. Those five people had been intently trying to get the sword manual. When they heard such vulgar and crude words from this sword manual, their heart itched even more to get it. Yan Sanxing slashed his saber and shouted, "It's not difficult if you want me to take the sword manual from this kid's chest. The four of you, step back outside the door, so I don't have to worry about you sons of turtles attacking me from behind when I'm taking it." The Tongue Cypress Wiz duo just backed out of the door without saying anything. Yoshun giggled, but he also retreated outside. Priest Yu Ling hesitated before stepping back for a few steps. Yan Sanxing shouted, "Step outside of the door, with both your legs." "What are you shouting for?" Priest Yu Ling replied. "If I want to go out, then I'll go out. If not, then what do you care?" Even though he said this, he still went outside the door at the end. The four people watched Yan Sanxing and were thinking on his possible escape routes from this spirit turtle pavilion. The stair was definitely the only escape route Yan Sanxing could take, since it wouldn't be possible for him to fly out from there. Hey Ari, well thank you so much. I'm glad you like the channel. Yan Sanxing turned around and his back was now facing Ling Hucheng. He was gazing at the four people outside the door, afraid that they might suddenly sneak an attack on him. He reached back with his left hand to grope inside Ling Hucheng's bosom, but he could not feel any book in there. He held his saber in his mouth by biting on it, and he used his left hand to grab Ling Hucheng's chest, while his right hand reached back to grope around. As he used strength on his left hand, he promptly felt his inner energy leaking out. Oh yeah, remember, Ling Hucheng still has that energy-sucking martial art, right? He was startled and hastily tried to pull his hand back. Is he rogue? Is he rogue? Anyone who touches him has their energy sucked out. But how could he have known that his hand would be stuck like it was glued to Ling Hucheng's skin and he couldn't pull it back? He was even more startled now and hastily moved his internal energy to snatch his hand back. However, the more internal energy he used, the faster it leaked. He struggled mightily as his inner energy was rushing out like the river torrent rushing down a dike. Ling Hucheng was in a desperate situation, and suddenly there was an enemy's internal energy being injected into him. He felt really happy, and he said, "Why are you stopping my heart meridian? How about if you let me recite the sword formula for you to listen to?" He randomly moved his lips like he was saying something. When Priest Yu Ling and the others saw it from outside the door, they really thought he was reciting the sword manual. They didn't want to be disadvantaged since they couldn't hear it, so they immediately rushed inside to be in front of Ling Hucheng. "That's it, that's the sword manual," Ling Hucheng exclaimed. "Why don't you take it out and give everyone a look?" But Yan Sanxing's left hand was still glued to Ling Hucheng's body, so how could he take it out? Priest Yu Ling thought that Yan Sanxing had grabbed the sword manual, but because he wanted to keep it for himself, he didn't want to take it out. He immediately extended his hand to Ling Hucheng's bosom to grab it, too. When his hand bumped Ling Hucheng's skin, his inner energy leaked out, and his hand was also glued to Ling Hucheng. Son's a turtle? You like that insult? Yes, son's a turtle. Hey, don't fight, you two. You might tear the sword manual. Then no one can see it, Ling Hucheng called out. The Tongue Cypress Wiz duo exchanged a glance. With a flash, 2 gold staves smashed down. Yan Shanxing's and Priest Yuling's heads burst open and they died instantly. As soon as they died, their inner energy disappeared, causing both their hands to be released from Ling Hucheng's body, and their corpses fell down to the floor. Ling Hucheng had suddenly received 2 people's inner energies. These energies had come from outside the sealed acupoints, and not from inside the sealed acupoints. With these energies rushing in, the sealed acupoints were unsealed quickly. His original energy was already abundant. With a little bit of power, the ropes binding his hands were broken straight away. Extending his hand inside his bosom to grab the handle of his short sword, he said, "The sword manual is here. Who wants it?" The Tongue Cypress Wiz duo were slow-witted and didn't think the ropes breaking apart was something unusual. When they heard him wanting to hand over the sword manual, they were exalted, and together they extended their hands forward. Pai, pai! Both their right wrists were cut, and their hands fell to the floor. They cried out wretchedly while jumping back at the same time. Ling Hucheng broke apart the ropes binding his legs and flew down to position himself in front of Ying Ying. He then said to Yo Shun, "Sword art comes out, everything will be killed. Brother Yo, do you want to look at the sword manual?" The sly Yo Shun was the only one left unharmed. At this time, he was already very frightened that his face was ashen. He tremblingly said, "Thank you, I don't want to take a look." "No need to be so polite. Have a look for a while. There's no harm to look at it," replied a smiling Ling Hucheng. He extended his left hand to poke Ying Ying's back and waist to unseal her acupoints. Yo Shun's whole body was trembling incessantly as he said, Master Ling Hu, Master Ling Hu, hero, you. Both his knees bent and he knelt to the ground. "Your lowly servant has offended you and deserves death. It's useless to say anything more. Sacred Lady and Headmaster still have your lives. Your lowly servant will go through fire, go through water. To learn the evil-resisting sword art, the first step is really fun. Why don't you do it?" Ling Hucheng laughingly said. Yo Shun kept on kowtowing, hitting his head on the floor as he said, "Sacred Lady and Headmaster are very broad-minded. Everyone in Wulin knows this. Today, let your lowly servant atone for my sin. Your lowly servant will go to Jianghu and declare you two saints." Oh, no. When he said saints, he remembered something and realized he had stumbled into another disaster in his fright. Ying Ying can get most angered when someone mentioned behind her back that Ling Hucheng and she were related. So he wanted to hold back his tongue, but it was too late. This doesn't mean that they were related, like blood related. It just means that they were in a relationship. Right? Yeah. Ying Ying saw the Tongue Cypress Wiz duo were standing side by side, even though they had each lost a hand and blood was pouring out of their arms without pause. Their faces still showed no fear. She asked, "Are you two husband and wife?" Wait, this is Ying Ying talking. "Are you two husband and wife?" The man from Tongue Cypress Wiz duo was called Zhou Gu Tong, and the woman was called Wu Bai Ying. "Today we've fallen under your hands. Whether you want to kill or peel our flesh off, the two of us won't bat an eyelid. Why do you ask so much?" Zhou Gu Tong replied. Ying Ying liked his haughtiness and coldly said, "I'm asking if the two of you are husband and wife." "We're not husband and wife officially, but for the last 20 years, we're much better compared to other officially married husband and wife. Wu Baiying said. Between the two of you, only one is allowed to live. Both of you are lacking a hand, a leg, also lacking a... Ying Ying thought her own father was the same as these two people. They all lacked an eye, so she didn't say it out loud. After a pause, she continued, Two of you can fight and kill each other. The one who survives can go. Very good. The Tongue Cypress Wiz Duo replied at the same time. A gold flash was seen as the two of them wielded their gold staves to hit their own foreheads. Wait! Ying Ying shouted. With a long sword in her right hand and a short sword in her left hand, she rushed forward and deflected the two staves. It's not staves, right? It's the plural of staff is stave. Staves. The two staves upward. As she hit the two staves, she felt her shoulders and arms go numb, and both her swords were dangerously close to being disarmed. However, her left arm was weaker, so Wu Baiying's staff still continued and hit her forehead. In an instant, blood was flowing down. Zhou Gutong loudly shouted, Once I kill myself, Sacred Lady's words are like the mountains, and she'll let you go. What's not good about that? Of course I'll die and you'll live. What's there to fight about? Wu Baiying replied. Okay. So each of the couple, they want to kill themselves to let the other live. Ying Ying nodded and said, Very good. The two of you, husband and wife, are very loving. I really respect you for that. I won't kill either of you. Quickly, wrap up your cut hand. The Cypress Wiz Duo were extremely happy. They tossed their staves away and rushed towards each other to wrap up their wounds. But there's one matter the two of you must do, Ying Ying said. Wu Baiying and Zhou Gutong acknowledged the order together. Ying Ying continued, After you've gone down the mountain, you must pay respect to the heaven and get married. The two of you traveling together, not becoming husband and wife. How? She originally wanted to say, how can you do that? But she immediately remembered about Ling Hucheng and her being together, also without being husband and wife. She couldn't help her face blushing red. Wu Baiying and Zhou Gutong have a glance and kowtowed their thanks together. Yo Shun said, Sacred Lady is very kind and forgiving. Not only did she spare your life, she even looked after your lifelong matter. The two of you are really lucky. I've known for a long time that Sacred Lady treats her subordinates really well. Wait, the plural of roof is roofs? No, that can't be right. Really? You're telling me the plural of roof is R-O-O-V-E-S? Roofs? Roof. Roof plural. Oh my god, you're right. Nikki, you are correct. The plural of roof is roofs. That's so weird. I've never used roofs before. Oh, wait a minute. Is it both? Is it both R-O-O-F-S and R-O-O-V-E-S? So it says the standard plural form is roofs, R-O-O-F-S. But there is an occasional and recognized minority form, R-O-O-V-E-S, which will disturb many people. I like how they said that. Is that worth a song? No. What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Okay, well, learn something new every day. Under whose order did you come to Hangshan this time? Ying Ying asked. What are you scheming about? Your lowly servant was deceived by that dog, Yue Bu Chun. He said he received Chief Run's black command wood, and he wanted the nuns of Hangshan captured and brought to the Dark Wood Cliff. He said the order comes from Chief Run, Yoshun answered. Yuebu Chun has the black command wood in his hand? Ying Ying asked. Yes. Our subordinate carefully looked at it. He really has the Sun Moon Sex's black command wood. If not, why would I listen to that dog Yuebu Chun's order when subordinate has always been loyal to Chief and the Sacred Lady? What the hell? What do you mean? You were about to kill the Sacred Lady. Ying Ying pondered. How did Yuebu Chun get my sex's black command wood? And, that's it. He took the 3-corpse brain pill, so he was listening to Dad's order, and Dad gave him the command wood. She then asked, Yuebu Chun also said, once you finished with the order, he'll give you the evil-resisting sword art, didn't he? Yosun kowtowed continuously as he said, that dog Yuebu Chun can really deceive people. Everyone believes him. You were saying you've done a great merit in Hangshan this time around. What's that all about? Ying Ying queried. There are some people who had gone to the mountaintop and put the confusion poison into the water spring, so all the Hangshan's disciples got knocked out. There are also some people who didn't know anything inside the other courtyard, who got knocked out by the confusion poison. At this time, they're already being sent to the Dark Wood Cliff, Yoshun related. Did you kill anyone? Ling Huchong worriedly asked. Killed around 8 to 9 people. They're all from the other courtyard. They didn't get knocked out by the confusion poison and resisted, so they were killed, Yoshun replied. Who are they? Your lowly servant doesn't know their names. Hero Linghu, your friends aren't one of them. Ling Huchong nodded his head, feeling relieved. Ying Ying said, let's go down. All right, Ling Huchong acknowledged. He took the long sword that monk Shibao left behind and laughingly said, if I see that evil granny, I'm going to dispute this well with her. Oh, thank you, Sacred Lady, and Headmaster Linghu for not killing me, Yoshun said. Why not? Why are you being so polite for? Ying Ying replied. She waved her left hand and her short sword shot out. With a puh sound, it was embedded in Yosun's chest. This sly traitor, slippery and hard to grip, Yosun, died instantly. Black command wood sounds like a euphemism. Yeah, Patrick. What euphemism for what? What do you mean? What are you saying? They went down the pavilion together. The mountain was lonesome, and only chirpings of birds were heard. Ying Ying looked at Ling Huchong and couldn't help bursting into laughter. Ling Huchong let out a drawn-out sigh and said, Ling Huchong shaved his head to be a monk. From this time on, my body has entered Buddhism. Shizu, let's part ways. Ying Ying knew he was joking, but her heart was still worried, and she involuntarily shuddered. She grabbed his arm and said, Brother Chong, don't say this kind of joke with me. Just then, when she threw her sword killing Yoshun, she didn't even blink, but her voice sounded scared at this time. Ling Huchong's heart was moved. His left hand patted his bald head, and he sighed, but with such a pretty as a jade girl in this world, Big Monk here will just have to return to the secular world. Ying Ying laughed captivatingly, then said, After I kill Yosun, I thought there wouldn't be anyone with a oily and slippery mouth in Wulin anymore. Then we'll have some peace and quiet. I didn't expect... Try touching my shiny head. It's so slippery that your hand won't stay on it, Ling Huchong smilingly said. Ying Ying blushed and spit. We're talking about proper stuff here. Hangshan's disciples have been captured and taken to the Dark Wood Cliff, and we're going to save them. This is a big problem. Moreover, it'll also harm our father and daughter relationship. Also, it'll harm my father and son-in-law relationship, Ling Hucheng added. Ying Ying glared at him, but she was enjoying the sweet feeling blooming in her heart. Ling Hucheng continued, "We mustn't tarry. Let's go catch up to them quickly. Cut them off and save them. When we catch up to them, kill them all and don't leave anyone alive. It's best if we don't let my dad know." She walked for a few steps before letting out a long sigh. Ling Hucheng understood her heart. She wanted to conceal this big matter from Runwal Singh's ears and eyes, which was something easier said than done. But he himself was the headmaster of the Hangshan school. So when Hangshan people were taken prisoner, how could he not rescue them? She had decided to follow her own decision, and she didn't care anymore, even though it would violate her father's order. When he thought till here, he decided that it was time to make a decision. He extended his left hand to grab a hold of her right hand. Ying Ying struggled slightly, but seeing that there was no one around, she let him hold her hand. Define Terry? Terry means like we shouldn't delay. Like we should go right away. We shouldn't delay any further. I'm like 99% sure. Tari? Covered in tar? That is not correct. Yeah, Terry. To delay or be tardy in acting or doing. Hi, Mr. Hanky. You love my videos? Thank you, Carter. I'm glad you like the videos. Ying Ying, I understand your heart. This matter implicates the harmony between your father and daughter, and I'm very sorry, Ling Hucheng said. Ying Ying shook her head slightly and replied, "If Daddy took my feelings into consideration, he wouldn't have taken any action against the Hangshan school, but I'm guessing he doesn't have any malice towards you either." Ling Hucheng immediately comprehended the situation. "That's right. Your father must have captured the Hangshan disciples to force me to swear an oath to the Divine Sun Moon sect." "That's right. Daddy actually likes you a lot. Moreover, you're the only person who has inherited his divine martial art." "I'm not willing to swear an oath to join the divine sect. What long-lived to chief unify the Jianghu? What refined scholar, kind-hearted warrior to the benefit of the common people? I want to vomit just hearing those disgusting talks." I know. That's why I've never persuaded you. If you enter the divine sect, you'll become the chief in the future. From day till night, hearing those disgusting talks, then we wouldn't be like we are now. Daddy is again on top of the Darkwood Cliff. His temper has also changed really quickly. But we mustn't offend your father. He extended his right hand to grip her left. "Ying Ying, after we save the Hangshan people, you and I should go pay respect to heaven and earth to get married. We shouldn't worry about others from the parents or some words from some matchmakers. You and I should retreat from Wulin, seal our swords and retreat into seclusion. Then we can ignore outside matters and bore some children." Oh, hey, he just proposed. I guess that's how you propose back in the day. When Ying Ying first heard of him talking properly, her face turned red, and her heart liked it a lot. But hearing the last sentence, she was startled and used some power to pull her hands away from his. Ling Hucheng laughingly said, "After we've become husband and wife, wouldn't we want to get some children?" "You're talking nonsense again," Ying Ying angrily replied. "I won't talk to you for 3 days." Oh. Ling Hucheng knew she would do what she said. He stuck his tongue out and said, "Oh, okay, I'll say less jokes. Catching up is most important now. Let's go up Shanxing Peak to have a look." The two of them used their qinggong to go up the path towards Shanxing Peak. There wasn't a single soul in the Wuxia convent or in the resident houses. Things and clothes were in disarray. with sabers and swords scattered around the floor. Fortunately, there wasn't a trace of blood on the floor. Seemed like no one was injured. They also went to the other courtyard to take a look. No one was there too. With the various wines and dishes displayed on the table, Ling Hu Chong's wine addiction was aroused. But how would he dare to drink these wines? He said, I'm very hungry. Let's go down the mountain quickly and grab something to eat and drink. Ying Ying tore the outer garment of Ling Hu Chong's gown and wrapped it on his head. Ling Hu Chong laughed and said, This is presentable. Else a big monk kidnapping a young girl from a respectable family, going places, it will be scandalous. When they reached the foot of the mountain, it was already at the hour of Wei, which is 1 to 3 p.m. So it was easy to find a little restaurant they ate their fill. They recognized the road going to Darkwood Cliff and took a deep breath before rushing to catch up. After rushing for a few hours, they suddenly heard a faint murmuring of shouting and curses coming from behind the mountain. They stopped, and it seemed like those voices belonged to the Peach Valley 6 fairies. They quickly rushed towards where the sound came from, and they gradually could hear much clearer. Sure enough, they were the Peach Valley 6 fairies. Ying Ying quietly said, I wonder who these 6 babies are fighting with. The two of them went around the mountain and hid behind a tree. They saw the Peach Valley 6 fairies were shouting while they fought intensely and surrounded that person. The person hastily went here and there. The body moved extremely fast, and only a gray streak was seen going round in between those 6 brothers. That person was unexpectedly to be Yilin's mother, the one who was pretending to be the mute granny inside the hanging temple. Following a couple of slapping sounds, the Peach Tree Root Fairy and the Peach Tree Fruit Fairy cried out as their cheeks were slapped. Ling Hu Chong was happy and quietly said, 6 months' debt returns quickly. I'm going to shave her head too. His hand pressed on the sword handle, waiting for the Peach Valley 6 fairies to defeat her before jumping out and taking his revenge. But then he heard a continuous pie sound. The 6 brothers were slapped on the cheeks many times by her. Peach Valley 6 fairies were furious. They wanted to just grab her arms and legs and tear her into 4 pieces. But the granny moved really fast, like a ghost, like a demon. A few times she looked certain to be captured, but they were always short by a few inches, and she managed to escape, which was followed by a few whacks to their cheeks. But this granny also saw that the 6 people were formidable, so she was afraid her strength might get depleted, and after defeating 1 or 2 of them, the remaining ones would capture her. After another series of fighting, that granny knew it was difficult to win. She launched both palms and struck four people 4 times. Suddenly, she leapt back and turned around to run quickly. She ran as fast as lightning, but in just a moment, she ran as fast as lightning. In just a moment, she was already dozens of feet away. The Peach Valley 6 fairies shouted together and went off to chase after her. Ling Hu Chong took his sword out and shouted, Where are you running to? The sword flashed and it was pointed at her throat. This attack was attacking to kill. That granny was startled and hastily withdrew her head to get away. Ling Hu Chong slantingly pierced his sword towards her right shoulder. There was no way for that granny to dodge it, so she was forced to retreat for a couple more steps. Ling Hu Chong forced her to step back for 1 more step. With his long sword in hand, how could that granny be his match? With 3 thrusts, she had been forced to step back for 5 steps. If he wanted to take her life, that granny would have died a long time ago. The Peach Valley 6 fairies cheered loudly as the point of Ling Hu Chong's longsword reached her chest. Root Fairy and 3 of his brothers rushed forward, grabbed her limbs, and lifted her up. Don't harm her! Ling Hu Chong quickly shouted. Flower Fairy lifted his hand and gave her a slap. Hang her up there first, Ling Hu Chong commanded. Yes, get the rope, Root Fairy said. But these 6 people didn't have any rope with them, and there was nowhere to find ropes in this wilderness as well. Despite this, Peach Peach Tree, Flower Fairy, and Trunk Fairy still searched for ropes. Suddenly, their hold loosened, and that granny escaped from their clutches. She rolled on the ground and was just about to fly out of there when she felt some tingling on her back. "Please stay," said a smiling Ling Huchong with the point of his long sword poking her on the back. The granny was surprised and her face changed color. All she could do was stand there, unable to move. The 6 fairies ran up to her and, with 6 simultaneous pokes, sealed that granny's arms and leg acupoints. Trunk Fairy rubbed his swollen cheek and then extended his hand wishing to slap her cheek. Ling Wuchang regarded Yi Lin, so he wasn't willing to let her be embarrassed. "Wait, let's hang her up first before we do anything," Ling Wuchang told them. When the Peach Valley 6 fairies heard him, they wanted to hang her high up there, so they were jubilant. They quickly gathered up some tree barks and rolled them to make ropes. Ling Wuchang asked the 6 of them why they were fighting with her. Branch Fairy answered, "6 of us brothers were just here taking a dump, minding our own business, when suddenly this granny went crazy, and she asked, 'Hey, did you see a small nun?' Her tone was very rude, and she also interrupted us taking a dump." Ying Ying heard him talking something dirty, so she scowled and walked away. That's right, this granny is the most unreasonable person in the world," Ling Huchong smilingly said. "Of course we ignored her and told her to go away. That granny just started hitting people, so we fought back. Originally, we were of course fighting to win, but since we haven't finished taking a dump yet, so it wasn't comfortable fighting with her. Brother Linghu, if it weren't for your timely arrival, she would have escaped," Leaf Fairy said. "That's not necessarily true. We were letting her escape for a few steps first, then we'd have chased her down to teach her what empty happiness is like," Flower Fairy argued. "Under the hands of the Peach Valley 6 fairies, we would definitely have recaptured a nobody who runs away from us," Fruit Fairy said. "This is the method cats use to catch mice. It will let them run for a few steps first, then recapture them again," Root Fairy added. "Even one cat would be able to catch 6 mice. Moreover, 6 cats would definitely be able to catch 1 mouse. That's very easy," Ling Huchong laughingly said. When Peach Valley 6 fairies heard Ling Huchong agreeing to what they were saying, they were all exulted. As they were talking, they finished rolling those tree barks into ropes. They tied that granny's hands and ankles behind her back and tied her high up on a tree. Ling Huchong wielded his long sword to slash at the tree and cutting away pieces of bark from it. With the brushing of the sword, there were now 5 big letters on the tree trunk. World's #1 vinegar pot. "Brother Linghu, why is this granny the world's #1 vinegar pot? Is she really good in drinking vinegar?" Root Fairy asked. "I don't believe it. Let her down and let me compete with her." "Vinegar pot is the word for cursing her," said a laughing Ling Huchong. "The Peach Valley 6 fairies are matchless heroes. Your righteousness reaching the clouds in the sky, skilled in culture and martial art, favored by the common people. How can this evil granny even be close to you? So there's no need to compete." The Peach Valley 6 fairies opened their mouths wide, laughing. They all said, "Ha ha, right, right, right." So did you actually see little martial sister Yi Lin? Ling Huchong asked. "You're asking about that beautiful little nun from the Hangshan school? We didn't see any little nun, but we saw 2 big monks," Branch Fairy answered. "One was the little nun's father, the other was the little nun's disciple," Trunk Fairy added. "Where?" Ling Huchong inquired. "These people passed about 2 hours ago. We had an appointment to drink wine with them, but at the town just ahead. We said we'd catch up with them after taking a dump, but who would have guessed this evil granny would come and bother us?" Leaf Fairy said. Ling Huchong thought for a while before saying, "Okay, I'm going to the town first. You can follow when you're ready. The 6 of you are big heroes and would never hit someone being tied up. If you slap this evil granny's cheek, it would damage your hero's reputation." The Peach Valley 6 fairies agreed to this. Ling Huchong immediately left quickly with Ying Ying. Ying Ying laughingly said, "You didn't shave her head. It must be because you're regarding little martial sister Yi Lin, so you only took a little bit of revenge on her." Okay, good plan, Nikki. The five of them should have fought her while the sixth one finished his business, then keep on swapping until everyone's done. Good job. You're a planner, I can see. After going for more than 10 li, they arrived at a big town. They searched till the second wine house. Before they saw Monk No Commandment and Tian Bo Guang sitting at a table. When they saw Ling Hu Chong and Ying Ying, they gasped in surprise and jumped up happily. No Commandment quickly ordered some wine and dishes. Ling Hu Chong asked whether there was something unusual happening. Tian Bo Guang answered, I was made to look silly at Hangshan and didn't have any more face to stay there, so I asked Grand Marshal Master to quickly leave. We can't go back. We can't go back to that Tong Yuan Valley again. Ling Hu Chong thought they still didn't know about the matter of the Hangshan school disciples being taken captives, so he asked Monk No Commandment, Great Master, can I ask you to do something for me? You can. Why not? Monk No Commandment replied. But this matter is a secret, and your grand disciple can't get involved in this, Ling Hu Chong said. Isn't that easy? I'll just tell him to go far away, and not hinder me in doing this matter, No Commandment said. Go towards the southeast for about 10 li. On top of a tall tree there's a person being tied up high there. Right? Being tied high up there, Ling Hu Chong described. I remember she's the wife of Monk No Commandment, right? So he's leading him to his wife. Ah, No Commandment uttered with an odd expression on his face, and his body slightly shuddered. That person is my friend. I'd like to ask you to help that person down, Ling Hu Chong explained. Isn't it easy to do? Why aren't you doing it yourself? Monk No Commandment asked. I'm not hiding anything. This person is a female, Ling Hu Chong said. He then gestured with his mouth towards Ying Ying and said, Young Lady Run and I are together, so it's not appropriate. No Commandment laughed aloud and said, Ha ha ha! I understand. You're afraid that young Lady Run will get jealous. Ying Ying glared at the two of them. Ling Hu Chong chuckled and said, That lady's jealousy is even bigger. Back then, her husband saw a madam and praised her to be beautiful. So this lady just left without saying a word. This caused her husband to go look for her till the end of the world for more than 10 years. As No Commandment heard him, his eyes were getting bigger and bigger. He said, This. His gasping was also getting noisier. I heard her husband didn't manage to find her when he was searching for her, Ling Hu Chong added. When he said till here, the Peach Valley 6 fairies walked up the stairs, giggling. No Commandment looks like he didn't see them. Both his hands grabbed Ling Hu Chong's arms and stammered, Really? She told me if her husband finds her and kneels in front of her, she wouldn't change her mind at all. That's why once you release her, she will run straight away. This lady's movement is really fast. You just have to blink and she'll be gone, Ling Hu Chong said. I won't blink at all. I won't blink at all, No Commandment said. I also asked her, why is it that she doesn't want to meet with her husband, Ling Hu Chong said. She said her husband is the world's #1 heartless, perverted, and lascivious man, so she didn't want to meet him, and that he's also in the wrong. No Commandment cried out, Wah! And turned around, wishing to go. Ling Hu Chong grabbed a hold of his arm and whispered in his ear, I'll teach you a secret. She won't run away again. No Commandment was startled, but he was also happy. After being dumbfounded for a little while, he suddenly kneeled down and said, and boom, 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 he kowtowed 3 times. With a loud voice, he said, Brother Ling Hu, no, Headmaster Ling Hu, Ancestor Ling Hu, Master Ling Hu, quickly, tell me the secret. I'll take you as my teacher. Ling Hu Chong couldn't help laughing as he said, I wouldn't dare, please get up. Pulling him to get up and then whispered in his ear, help her down from the tree, but don't release the ropes or unseal her acupoints. Then carry her to an inn and get a room. Think about it. She's a woman and a Buddhist. How do you prevent her from running away from the inn? No Commandment scratched his head, and then he hesitated and answered, I don't really get it. If you take off her clothes first, then unseal her acupoints, since she's now naked, how would she dare to run away from the inn? Ling Huchang whispered. No Commandment was very happy, and he called out, oh, good plan! Good plan! Master Ling Hu, your benevolence! He didn't finish his sentence before he shouted happily and went out the window. Once he hit the ground, he immediately flew out. What? So the plan is to strip her naked so she can't run out of the inn? Okay. Alright, give me a 5-minute break, okay? We'll be right back. And we're back. Alright, do this. Yeah, this monk is really weird. Why did he go? Fruit Fairy was perplexed. He must have wanted to pee and can't wait anymore, Branch Fairy answered. Then why did he kowtow to Brother Ling Hu and started calling him master? Could it be that he wants someone to teach him how to pee even though he's so old already? Leaf Fairy asked. Ying Ying knew that these 6 people most likely would speak some vulgar words as they went on, so she cast a glance at Ling Huchang and went down the stairs. Brothers, I've long heard the 6 of you have wine capacities like the ocean. Brothers, I've long heard that the 6 of you have wine capacities like the ocean, and you're matchless in this world, so drink slowly. My capacity is shallow, so I'm going to take my leave first, Ling Huchang said. When the Peach Valley 6 fairies heard him praising their wine capacities, they were all happy and all thought that if they didn't drink a few jars, then they might lose a bit of reputation. So they called out, bring out 6 jars of wine. Your wine capacity is of course much lower than ours. You go first. If you wait for us to drink our fill, I'm afraid you'll have to wait till tomorrow. Ling Huchang only had to say one sentence, and he had managed to get away from these 6 people and went down the stairs. Ying Ying pursed her lips, smiling, and she said, You reconcile the husband and wife. What a boundless benevolence. But this method you taught him, it's rather... When she said till here, her face became red, and she turned away her head. Looking at her, Ling Huchang giggled, but didn't say a word. The 2 of them walked outside of town. After walking for a stretch of the road, Ling Huchang was still smiling and was continuously looking at her. Ying Ying got angry and shouted, What are you looking at? Never seen me before? I was just thinking that this evil granny hanged both of us on the ceiling's beam, so we repaid her back by hanging her on a tree. She shaved my head, so I taught her husband how to take off her gown, so this is also repaying her back. Ah, so it's a revenge. What's up, Steven? Oh, it's because so he says so you looked up you searched YouTube for Smiling Proud Wanderer and you can't find it. It's all these videos are unlisted except for part 21, I guess. I might have missed unlisting that one. But all these videos are unlisted. If you want to see them all, you can see them. You can go down to the description and click on the playlist, and you can see it. Yeah, they're unlisted because I don't want them to just crowd out the video tab on the channel page, right? Because there's a lot of these videos and it'll just crowd out all the other videos. So yeah, that's why they're unlisted. Where am I? The 2 of them walked outside of the town. After walking for a stretch of the road, Ling Huchang was still smiling and was continuously looking at her. Wait, we already said that. Ying Ying smiled back and said, "This is also called repaying back?" Ling Hucheng laughed before replying, "I'm only hoping Great Master No Commandment isn't rash and that this husband and wife get together again." Ying Ying giggled and said, "You should be careful. You're going to be in trouble when that evil granny sees you next time. I helped her to reunite with her husband, so it won't be too late for her to thank me then." Ling Hucheng smiled. After he said this, he again took glances at Ying Ying and laughed to himself, with his expression looking odd. "What are you laughing at now?" Ying Ying asked. "I was just thinking that Great Master No Commandment being reunited with his wife. I wonder what they'll be saying to each other," Ling Hucheng replied. "Then why do you keep looking at me for?" Ying Ying queried. Suddenly, she understood what Ling Hucheng meant. This loafer was thinking of Great Master No Commandment in the inn taking off his wife's gown. Oh, he's being a little horny. His mind was thinking of this, but his eyes kept looking at her. It could be imagined how hard he was holding himself in. All of a sudden, her cheeks were bright red, and she wielded her hand to hit him. Ling Hucheng dodged it and laughed. A woman hitting her husband is an evil wife. At this time, they suddenly heard a light hissing sound from somewhere afar. Ying Ying recognized that this was her sex's whistling to summon people. She raised her left hand and put her fingers to her lip. Her right hand had made a movement, and she whistled towards that direction. Oh, that's it? That was a quick chapter, wasn't it? That's it. We're done. We're done. Oh, 3 more chapters. Almost finished. All right. Ling Hucheng's thinking about that granny without her gown. Oh no. Oh no. Ooh. All right. Ooh. Let's drink some wine and then finish. All right. Cheers. Hey, Juria. What's up, Juria? Nice of you to join at the end. Alright, yeah, that was a pretty quick chapter. We got 3 more. This chapter is called Annihilation, so the next chapter should be really good. Sounds like something's gonna happen. You'll try to be here for the last few chapters? Good. Awesome. Alright, guys. If there's nothing else, I think we're done. We're done. Alright, I'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Yeah, I love you, and bye.